Good evening, Cement Shoes. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Unique Pernell Cox, woohoo, best time of my day has started. Good. I'm glad you're here. Whoops, second. No, you're first and second. First and third. You're at 7 p.m. and 18 seconds. Jenny was at 7 o'clock and 22 seconds, and then your third comment is at 26 seconds after. Right guard, good evening. Hello, Rotary Dial. Rotary Dial. I don't see Rotary Dial's comment. See, Cement Shoes, right card. Jenny, right card. Stephanie Fisher, good evening, Stephanie Fisher. Welcome. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. So we're gonna tonight's trivia is gonna be a little bit different. In case you haven't seen it from the title, tonight is music and movies. The first 15 questions are all music related. The second 15 questions are about movies. Naked HD XYZ online strips without clothing. Interesting name. It's a long name too. Hey, Two Will and Cement Shoes and the whole hole in one now, fam jam. Good evening. Leah, my car. I gotta put my glasses on. It makes it a lot easier than sitting going like this over and over again. Brooks, good evening. So as I explained, the first 15 questions are about music. The second 15 questions are about movies. And this is kind of a preview into what the trivia night on Sunday will be like after the new year. So after the new year, it won't just be music only on Sundays. There's going to be three different categories: music, movie, and then all in like a mixture of the others. So the three of them all gonna be mixed together. Sorry, frying bacon, everyone. Wow, frying bacon. Bacon. Everything in the world is better with bacon. Bacon, bacon, bacon. Alec Baldwin says he feels no guilt after he shot dead that poor lady. Really? I haven't had a chance to watch any of the interviews with Alec Baldwin yet, right, Cart? I've been a little bit too busy. Got my plate already full, as they would say. $0.06 a meal. Good afternoon from New Zealand, 401 Now family. Well, good evening. Welcome to the trivia night. So give it another couple of 10 seconds here and we'll get this thing rolling. Legally, lawyers will tell you not to say that you feel guilt. It might be. And good evening, Amy. I'm sorry I didn't say hello earlier if I missed you. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I'm glad you could join us tonight. I wonder if he feels any guilt over all his crappy movies. Probably not. Teresa, 1975. Hey, y'all. Please hit that like button. Hey, Rotary Dial. Good evening. Going to bake me a bacon and peanut butter cake. Saw it on Nailed It, and now I have to try it. That sounds good, actually. Peanut butter, so you have that sweet and saltiness of the two of them together. I bet it tastes great. I Pip it dot. All right. Happiness cartwheels. I made it on time. Yep. Okay, let's do the first one here. Ugh, forgot me. Where me? Where am I? All right. Which famous musical group was formerly known as the New Yardbirds? Good evening, Starfire. Welcome to trivia. There we go. I was trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing. I was doing wrong. Why I was it put me in the background and put everything else in the front ground there. It minimizes me to a little tiny window, but I'm still here. D. Brooks, Rykar has no idea. Spent shoes, 6 cents a meal, going with D. Led Zeppelin. Woohoo, Lisa. Hello, everyone. Just come to hang out here because a few channels I've subbed to are blowing up. I'm sorry. Well, this is trivia night here, Lisa. I hope you enjoy it. The first 15 questions are on music. They're all multiple choice, as you can see on the screen, with 4 possible answers. And after the second 15 questions that we do tonight are all on movies from 1980 to 1990. The Jailbirds, gets the birds. Brooks is going with C. The Crows. Stephanie Fisher, D. All right, question number 1. Which famous musical group was formerly known as the New Yardbirds? The correct answer is D, as in dog. And now I have to get up my answer key. I know that's the right answer, though. I actually have their first 2 albums. And this is the 5th. All right, so next question. What was Elvis Presley's first hit in 1956? Was it A, Heartbreak Hotel, B, Runaway, C, In the Ghetto, or D, Don't Be Cruel? Oh, thank you, 6 cents a meal. I'm feeling much better today. I take it day by day right now. The morning time, it's really, I have a lot more pain in the morning, stiffness in the joint, but it's getting better. I wouldn't say it's 100%. I mean, but I'd say definitely better than it was last week. Said he didn't pull the trigger either. He said that. Wow. D, overrated Elvis. What was Elvis Presley's first ever hit in 1956? 6 cents a meal says none of the above. Moments in Trading, good evening. Welcome. I'm glad you could make it tonight. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I wasn't boring yet. A sounds good. Elvis Presley. Be told no one. Told no, admitting to guilt or anything like that publicly. Oh, I'm not surprised by that at all. The attorney would tell you not to, to mitigate any kind of outcome of possible lawsuits. Don't admit to any guilt of anything, because I don't know, not looking like a good week for me. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, maybe the next question, you'll know the next ones. I guess and see, because I know that one. What was Elvis Presley's first hit in 1956? Moments of Trading is going with D. The correct answer for question number 2 is A, as in apple. Heartbreak Hotel was his first hit in 1956. You have to read the question correctly. Not ever, not his biggest, not his number 1, but what was his first hit in 1956? Because I know someone's going to say, "Hey, man, he had hits before that. Why aren't we counting those?" Because that question says, what was his first hit in 1956? All right. Question number 3. Rock band AC/DC actually originates from which country? A, UK, B, United States, USA, C, New Zealand, or D, Australia? More than one hit. Never got into Elvis. I'm more of an Ozzy type person. Well, maybe you're close. You know this one. This is closer to Ozzy. I mean, it's not Ozzy, AC/DC, but Over the Ditch, Ozzy. Love the Sun 100. Good evening. Welcome to Trivia Night. I hope you had a wonderful week. I never liked AC/DC much, Moments in Trading. Right, Cart, love AC/DC. I've seen AC/DC at least 3 times on 3 different tours. I know it was at least 3 times. Yeah, might have seen them 4 times, but I can remember 3. All right, rock band AC/DC actually originates from which country? The correct answer is D, as in dog, Australia. Question number 4. Which singer is godmother to Elton John's 2 sons? Is it A, Cher, B, Madonna, C, Lady Gaga, or D, Stevie Nicks? I gave my son the initials TNT. Did you? That's cool, rotary dial. The drummer for AC/DC was charged with producing murder. Procuring a murder for hire. Yeah. I want to say I've seen them play, but I'd be a liar. Good evening, Reenie. Welcome to the Trivia Night. I hope you had a great week and weekend. Glad you could be here with us tonight. She's guessing D for Stevie Nicks. D because of the others? No. Who is the godmother to Elton John's 2 sons? Right card is going with C and B. B with a pukey face. Both my godparents, my godmother and my godfather, are both well deceased. They died well over 30 years ago themselves. They moved out to Tucson, Arizona, where they ended up dying. Both of them did. Thunderstruck by Stephen N. Seagulls is an awesome cover. I don't think I've ever heard that one. I have to admit, I rarely know the answer, so I'm here for entertainment and education. Well, maybe you'll know that the last 15 questions tonight are all about movies. So maybe you'll know those ones. If it's who I think it is, she's more of a godmother or I don't know the answer to this. Love the Sun, I'm guessing A. Amy Davis, hi, 213. Which singer is the godmother to Elton John's two sons? The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is C, as in cat. Lady Gaga is the godmother to both of Elton John's sons. Yes. RuPaul, good evening. Short and nice, good evening. Both of you, welcome to tonight's trivia night. We are on question number 5 now, because we just finished number 4. But I'm glad you both could make it tonight. And I'm going to move over here to the next screen. But maybe he would choose younger to take care of his kids. I would have guessed that answer last. She's a wild one, but she's got a great voice. You're 0 for 3. All right, question number 5. Brothers Barry, Robin, and Maurice Gibb formed which pop group in late 1950s? Was it A, the Astros, B, Sonic Youth, C, the Bee Gees, or D, AC/DC? Brothers Barry, Robin, and Maurice Gibb formed which pop group in the late 1950s? What pop group did those 3 brothers form? I don't know. Has anybody ever heard of these people? That was a sarcastic question. This is a trick question. Not really. Moments in Trading. We all know the answer to this. Well, I don't know if we all know it, but I'm guessing a large majority of us know what the answer is. Reichardt. No. Only one Bee Gees left. Only one Bee Gee left? Yeah, unfortunately. Brothers Barry, Robin, and Maurice Gibb. Making sure it wasn't an earlier band name. No. Elton John's kids are 10 and 8, so I guess someone younger. Good. What about this one? Question number 5. Brothers Barry, Robin, and Maurice Gibb formed which pop group in the late 1950s? The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is C, as in cat, the Bee Gees. 6 cents a meal, the Bee Gee Pants. Only one pretender left. 2. Wow. I didn't know that. Didn't know that about the Pretenders. All right. Question number 6. The Grateful Dead's highly devoted fan base is known as what? A, Dead Rockers, B, Deadheads, C, Dead Flowers, or D, Dead Spirits? What are the Grateful Dead's highly devoted fan base known as? Chris Fisher, good evening. Welcome to the trivia tonight. Wanted to say true crime trivia, but I had to think there for a second. Welcome to trivia night, Chris. Glad you could be here with us. I hope you had a wonderful week and weekend. I figured Elton had some kids older than that, but hey, we learn something every day. The Grateful Dead's highly devoted fan base is known as what? Brad B with a skull. My dad is one of and he taught me how to be a Grateful Dead fan. I've never seen the Grateful Dead in concert, and I mean, I like some of their songs. It just never was my kind of music, but the Grateful Dead's highly devoted fan base is known as what? The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is B as in boy, Deadheads. I saw the Grateful Dead live before. That's cool. I mean, I wouldn't. Somebody would have offered me tickets. I certainly wouldn't have turned down going to a concert to see them play. It just wasn't my cup of tea, I guess you could say. All right, question number 7. Where is Kanye West from? Is he from Boston, B, New York, C, Miami, or D, Chicago? Where is Kanye West from? Oh, I agree with you there. Love the Sun. Touch of Grey was a great song. Still is. I mean, past tense, but it is a great song. Where is Kanye West from? I put D, meant B, damn it. I have a dead head tat and everything. I'm kind of embarrassed. Uh-oh. Sorry. Do you have like the dancing bears? Jerry Garcia is apparently very talented, but truthfully, I've kind of missed it on not a lot, truthfully. That I don't know. He named a kid Chicago, so I'm going with that. How many kids does Kanye West even have? I know he doesn't take care of all of them, or, well, he was in arrears on a lot of child support for a long period of time. So I know he has more than one. Once we find out, we can send him back, please. Whoops, too many truthfuls there. Can you be pretty sure? With Kim? Send it back with Kim. Kim Kardashian. Now I have the skull and roses. I'm a skull freak. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I see so many people with the either the bandolier of the different colored dancing bears. I see a lot of those tattoos. Dude's a billionaire in arrears on child support. Yeah. What does a pair of his shoes cost? Like $400 for a pair of shoes? He said Kim have 4 kids. North Chicago, Palms, and Saint are their names. North Chicago, Palms, and Saint. Wow. Those are some great names for your kids, huh? Didn't want to go with a Bob or a Sarah in there? Where is Kanye West from? The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, to question number 7 is D, as in dog. He is from Chicago, Illinois. Ugly shoes too, right? Well, I have, yeah. People seem to like them though. They say they're really comfortable shoes, but to each their own, I guess, right? All right, question number 8. What decade is the hit single Love Shack by the B-52s from? Is it A, 1960s, B, 70s, C, 80s, or D, 90s? Was never a fan. So I saw the Grateful Dead sticker on a Cadillac. Rock Lobster. Rihanna Evans, good evening. Welcome to the trivia night. I hope you had a wonderful week and weekend. Glad you could join us tonight. The only song I like by Kanye is Runaway. I hate that song. C or D, can't remember. Saw the video on MTV as a young kid, maybe 5-ish. That would have been 89, 90. I'll go with C. That is a line from the Don Henley song. Amy is going with it was 1989. Hello, Will. I'm good. Thank you. You're great. Glad you could join us tonight. I don't think I've ever purposely gone out and listened, sought out either to listen to on a download or YouTube or anything, any Kanye West song. To tell you the truth, I'll be absolutely honest with you. I had no idea who he was until, some of the controversies started popping up in the news. I didn't know who he was. And I've never watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians, so I didn't know who I knew there were certain people who married into the family and quickly divorced out of the family, but I knew who the father was, from the O.J. Simpson trial. But large part of pop culture there that I'm missing. Moments I sang it when I read your comment. I love Don Henley. Don Henley was an ultra talented man. What decade is the hit single Love Shack by the B-52s from? For question number 8. I was 9 when I got into music. I remember it being on the radio, LOL. Watched it, find it fascinating in a way. Pearson from B-52s is awesome. What decade is the hit single Love Shack from, the B-52s from? The correct answer for question number 8, ladies and gentlemen, is C, as in cat, the 1980s. 1980s. My kitchen is total skull. It's always a day of dead here. Everyone else collects Italian chefs or roosters. I'm a skull lady. That's cool. All right. Question number 9. What was the title of the autobiography Diana Ross published in 1994? Was this the 80s? Pippadot? Yes, it was. What was the title of the autobiography that Diana Ross published in 1994? Was it A, Secrets of a Sparrow, B, Jane Says, C, R&B Destroyed Me, or D, Diana's Secrets? Obviously, that's supposed to be a comma and not an ampersand, so that was my mistake. Oops. And there are some questions that are going to come up tonight, especially in the music, the movie part. where I have not spell checked them at all. So you're gonna have to forgive me if there's spelling errors in the movie questions. This one I don't know. My whole house is skull. I guess A on this. Good question, Will. I've got a lot of A's here. Don't know this one. I guess A question mark A. Stephanie Fisher's going with C. R&B destroyed me. Oh. A. What could it be? What was the autobiography Diana Ross published in 1994 called? Amy is going with, I'm guessing either A or D. Either A or D is her guesses. Pet Cemetery. Yeah, where's Inner Peace? Pet Cemetery. All right. What was the title of the autobiography Diana Ross published in 1984? The correct answer to question number 9, ladies and gentlemen, is A as in apple. Secrets of a Sparrow was the name of her autobiography that she published in 1994. And it sold extraordinarily well. It was very, very well written, and a lot of people from a lot of different genres, in music wise, and actually read it. And there are quite a few different artists who actually referenced it later on in different songs, either the name of the book or Diana's actual biography itself from the beginning part of it. I can't remember who wrote the forward to it, but I've actually skimmed through the book back when I had my bookstore quite a few years ago. But it's actually a pretty well written book from what I remember about it. There are a few artists I would like, an autobiography. I thought that sounded corny enough to be right. It is. Stephanie Fisher, F. Michael's Secrets. All right, question number 10. What band had a debut album titled Can't Buy a Thrill? Was it A, The Cars, B, Steely Dan, C, Blue Oyster Cult, or D, the Allman Brothers? You have to leave, Pippadot? Bye, Pippadot. You have a great night and a great week ahead. You take care, sweetheart. I would imagine that any autobiography written by Anna would be a good read, big time. Yeah, if you can, I think you can actually, if you have one of those reader devices, either Kindle or one of the Amazon Fire tablets, I think you can download it directly, probably like less than a couple bucks to read it that way. Or you can support an independent bookstore and go buy a copy for probably less than $5. But it's actually not that bad. I mean, it's been quite a few years since I read it, but it's a good book to read. We got B. Can give you weird. Will, I was just thinking of Steely Dan. Were you? I got a couple of audible. If the actual person narrates. What band had a debut album called Can't Buy a Thrill? I'm going to use a lifeline and ask the audience to go with B. Lifeline. Yeah, I'm going with B. B, and thanks, Will, for the info. I haven't yet purchased books online in electronic form, but have been curious. Well, you're welcome, I guess. I mean, I don't have a Kindle device or a Nook or any of those. My son does. He's got an Amazon Fire tablet, but I don't read books that way. I prefer to the old fashioned way, like actual physical written printed books. Yeah. What band had a debut album titled "Can't Buy a Thrill"? The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, to question 10 is B, as in boy, Steely Dan. Buy physical books from thrift books. Quality is good and prices are good too. From thrift books, Amy. That's cool. Moments and Train. B. I knew it. I've got the album down here somewhere. I know I do. And you earn free books too. I used to buy a lot and do a lot of business with thrift books, Powell, and half price books. Used to do a lot of business with all of that not so much anymore. Favorite skull is Krylos, a medical skeleton. I found at the dump. Wow, that's cool. All right, question number 11. U2's Angel of Harlem was written about which singer? Was it A, Billie Dean Williams, B, Billie Holiday, C, Billie Jean King, or D, Billie Reese? U2's Angel of Harlem. Who was the song about? Nose and Train, B, and Love the Sun are going with B. Chris and Teresa are going with B. Starfire B. Ripple B. It's really a medical skeleton, or do you have someone's head that got thrown out? Ooh, I go for Billy here. I go B for Billy here. Well, yeah, it's a very good chance that the correct answer is Billy something. Rycard, Brooks, Six Cents a Meal are going with B. Gayla, hello, just checking in to say hi. Hello, Gayla. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, Gayla. And thank you for stopping by. Even if you can't stay and play along with us tonight. Rotary dial B, LOL. Did Inner Peas put C in there? I don't know. Six Cents a Meal. Billy Idol. Vital Idol. Miss Day, in other words. My husband would drop dead if I brought something like that home. He already tells me if I bring any more stuff home, he is going to start putting it in the attic. Wow. Billie Holiday, heroin addict, prostitution, one of the all-time best jazz singers. Mama's sick, but doing better. Thank you. Well, that's good. That's good, Gayla. I'm glad she's doing better. Cement Shoes is going with B as well. U2's Angel of Harlem was written about what singer? That's why I concerned, because it was from a dump. I would haunt whoever put my skeleton in the dump. I read a very interesting story, speaking of skeletons, about a gentleman who his body was embalmed and then he was put into a casket and he was left out for display. Now, he died back in the Old West, and he ended up bouncing his skeleton and everything else, mummified. He kept them bouncing around from, freak show to, carnivals to, and on display over and over again. But people eventually, the history of where the skeleton came from got lost, and he ended up in, basically a museum but they thought the skeleton was just like a movie prop, and it turned out that it was a real skeleton. And then they had to backtrack through history to find out, where, and who this actual person was. Have fun and take care. Bye. Have a great week ahead, Gayla. Thank you for stopping by. All right. U2's Angel of Harlem was written about which singer? The correct answer is B as in boy, Billie Holiday. Israel Keyes victims went to the dump in Vermont, but they couldn't find them. Just too much to go through. I didn't know that. My dad rented out a prior house that they left a mannequin actor when I was at a light and scream until he brought a light and he figured it out. Wow. Smash that thumbs up, everyone. Let's do it. All right, going on to question number 12. Ace Frehley is a member of which iconic rock band? Is it A, Rolling Stones, B, Led Zeppelin, C, Kiss, or D, Duran Duran? Ace Frehley. Excuse me. Bill Lorraine Courier. See, you pretty sure. Remember, get off my lawn, Keys, and good old Eastwood. Ended up in the landfill, unfortunately. So sad. I knew he killed them because he just wanted to live their life or wanted their stuff or something. I just didn't know that their bodies ended up in the landfill. Yep, C is going to stay put on that. Don't know the answer to this question. 6 cents a meal. Ace Frehley, whichever band he is an iconic member of, also had I'd say a pretty successful overall solo career when he did do his own, solo work. At one time, I had his album. Yeah, this person's Ace Frehley's album. Stripped Without Clothing. Nights in Satanic Services, Kiss. Don't know the answer to this question. Ace Frehley. Unless you're H.H. Holmes, he murdered to sell them. Well, it was a way to ends. With the Star Child. All right, question number 12. Ace Frehley is a member of which iconic rock band? The correct answer is C, as in cat, Kiss. He is a member of the band Kiss. Question number 13. Which pop singer's real name is Robin Fenty? Is it A, Madonna, B, Rihanna, C, Etheridge, or D, Nina? Amy is going with B. Chris Fisher is going with B. Starfire, join the group. Going with B. Moments in trading is going with C. Well, one, that is a spam message or a person with a neon writing. I don't know who it is. To tell you the answer to your question, Cement Shoes, I do not know who Strips Naked is. But they don't seem to be too much of a problem to me right now. But if they do, if they get out of hand, or if anybody gets out of hand, that we have several moderators who are here. Who is Nina? You'll go with C. Nina, 99 loofahs or 99 red balloons. No, she's a singer. That's probably her most popular song was in German. She sang it. It's 99 loofahs. The English version 99 red balloons or 99 balloons. Rihanna owns Fenty fashion line, so somebody's using deduction of reasoning here. It's not B. I saw YouTube on that the other day. I'm going with 99 red balloons. You think so? I think it's Nina. The skeleton has numbers on it. I tried to find out who it was, but personal details are kept private, so I named it secret. Still cool. I don't know if my wife would allow me to have anything like that around the house. An actual real skull. If even if it was somebody who gave their body up to medical science or whatever. When I had my ligament replacements, last week, I got a card. All it tells me about who the cadaver is that I got the ligaments from is that it's a male, and that the male has a long series of numbers. I'm not allowed to know where the person's from, how the person died. I'm not allowed to know anything other than that they donated their body to medical science. And thankful that they did, because I never would have gotten both of the ligaments to repair my knee. I have a full shop mannequin. Her name is Dolly Dagger. Huh. 13B. Which pop singer's real name is Robin Fenty? The correct answer for question number 13, ladies and gentlemen, is definitely B. And using the deduction of reasoning, you are absolutely correct. That is her clothing line. Her clothing line is definitely named after her real first name. So great reasoning there, and way to figure out the actual answer to the question. Round out though, the answer was no, because this is from Barbados, I believe. Robin Fenty doesn't have that Ayland sound. All right, question number 14. Which pop star played 27 different instruments on their debut album titled For You? Is it A, Prince, B, David Bowie, C, Pete Townsend, or D, Jim Morrison? Dolly Dagger, Jimi Hendrix. They may not be able to tell you that much, even if you ask your county police. Missing person info, they can check out. Yeah, but you could do the same thing yourself, for missing persons. But if it only has a number on it, that means it's an inventory number of how they actually inventory it, if it's an actual real human skull, and it's not one of the fake ones. So the only way you'd probably be able to check that information to find out who it is, if you could even do that, you might be able to find out where it came from. but it'd be a way to track back to the actual company that actually sold it off to, either medical, as a medical instrument or for medical study is how they labeled the actual bones. I know that my friend has a spinal. He's an osteo something other. He deals with arthritis and stuff like that with a lot of his patients. But he has an actual spine, and each one of those have little metal tags on them, that tells you where the actual the skeleton came from. But don't know if they would do that for a skull though. You just give the number and the police can look it up. You can give it's worth a try if you really want to know the answer. Nothing is still cool either way though. But I highly doubt it came from like a murder victim or a missing person. Because if it's a missing person, then it wouldn't have been inventoried and have the inventory number on it. At least that would be my thinking. But I could be completely wrong. I did go to and try to find out because of the Privacy Act. I couldn't find out who he actually was. Was told that it's a male though. That makes sense. It's pretty much when I got the cadaver ligaments, they won't tell me if there is absolutely no way for me to ever find out, or the person's family who I got the ligaments from. There's no way for them to ever find out that I got the ligaments from their loved one, and vice versa. They stopped that entire thing because I guess there's been too many issues in the past where people track down other people that they received donor body parts from, either arms, legs, hearts, or whatever, and tracked the families down and said, "Hey, I got Jim Bob's heart, so, or I've got Tommy's knee ligaments, whatever it might be." They track them down, and it's more of a deterrent for families to want to make sure that their family members donate their bodies for science or for other reasons. Like be an organ donor or anything at all. It's a deterrent more. Cheryl Curtis, welcome. Cheryl is going with A. Good evening. I hope you had a wonderful week, Cheryl. Thank you for joining us tonight. All right, question number 14. Which pop star played 27 different instruments on his debut album? The correct answer is A, as in apple. Prince, on his debut album, played 27. In case you're wondering, how many instruments were there on the actual debut album? If Prince played 27, the correct answer is 41. 41 instruments were played on the actual debut album, but Prince played 27 of the 41. That's a lot. That is a really super talented individual who could play 20 plus instruments, 27 to be exact, and then still do the singing and the writing and everything else, for that debut album. So, Princey, very Princey. Hey, give me back my organs. They don't like to give out things like that due to data protection. Yeah, I mean, I'm just extremely thankful that for that I was able to get them in the first place. Because originally, when we did the doctor did the first surgery the first time, he originally replaced the PCL, and because I'm an idiot, and it didn't take to the bone where it actually attaches, and I ripped that off. He's like, well, if we're gonna go back in and do it, we're thinking, okay, we'll do the ACL, down the road, and he put out to the network and said, look, let's just see if we can get both of them at the same time and do the ACL and the PCL all together, one whack, get it done with, so we can get you farther out before you're ever going to have surgery again, if ever. So that was the hope. And so I got a new PCL and a new ACL. So, and I wouldn't have gotten them if it wasn't for the donor. And do I know if both of them came from the same donor? No, I do not. I do not know if they came from the same cadaver or not. Each one of them has an individual number, and that's it. And it just says that they both came from a male, and that it has a long, giant number after each of them. So no interfering with your pain. Was used a class survey. It could be thrown in a box and accidentally sent out with the garbage. That's why their label research ones. You know it's not like a murder victim. Didn't know they played a lot of instruments until after he died. One of these days, I'm going to get back there and I'm going to visit the Prince actual museum itself. From what I understand, though, a large portion is still off of the museum is closed to the general public, but there's a large portion of it that is still open. Well, it's done though. That's all that matters to me. So, question number 15. Dusty Springfield recommended Led Zeppelin to a record label. Which record label did Dusty Springfield recommend Led Zeppelin to? Was it A, RCA, B, Atlantic, C, MGM, or D, Sub Pop? What a shame to discard such a valuable item. Sad the donor ended up there. I was imagining prank by a frat. Chris Fisher, Stephanie, and Chris Fisher and Stephanie are going with B. Moments and Trading is going with A. Reichart, A. Recover well. Well, send healing vibes when I think of it as hippie-ish as that sounds. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's getting better. It's going to take some time to build the strength back up and to get full flexibility in the knee, but it's getting there. Right now, they should have buried the bones, not thrown them in the garbage. Well, being a real skull doesn't creep me out because I know that it's not the victim of a crime. It seems sad to bury him in the trash when he could be with someone who loves him. That's cool. RCA is a U.S. company. I'm changing to B. Dusty Springfield. Does anybody remember Dusty Springfield? I do. I most certainly do. Hey, RCA, really crappy appliance. I don't think I have anything that's by RCA anymore. Used to have a couple televisions. I think I might have even had a microwave at one time. Those made by RCA. Not anymore. I use televisions instead of actual monitors. So this is Magnavox, Magnavox, Magnavox. All three of these are Magnavox televisions. And interesting side note, they're Magnavoxes, but they're made in the same manufacturing plant as Curtis Mathis televisions. I think it's in Ohio. But they're sold underneath a different brand, either Curtis Mathis or Magnavox. They're made in the same factory, same people, same quality of product, everything else in them. Only difference is the name that they slap on them. Can't remember. I think it's in Ohio though. Son of a preacher man. Yeah. Confusing. Future anthropologist, archaeologist. Yeah, only if that archaeologist in the future, actually does something like that, to dig up, find out a couple thousand years from now, we're all dust anyways. All right, question number 15. Dusty Springfield recommended Led Zeppelin to a record label. Which one was it? The correct answer for number 15 is B, as in boy, Atlantic Records. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the next 15 questions are all movie related. Some of them are music movie, questions, but most of them are just about movies in general. These are not obscure movies you've never heard of before. These are box office, huge, smash hits. It's not like I picked questions from some, B-rated movie that was down the rabbit hole that that only was released on VHS one time. These are smash hit movies. But the next 15 questions are all movie related. And they all start off with the top. Up the top, it says movie Q, movie question, and then the actual question itself. And we've all heard of Citizen Kane, so here's the first one. What are the dying words of Charles Foster Kane in Citizen Kane? A, goodbye, my love. B, I'll be back. C, kiss my ass. Or D, Rosebud. Movies from 1970 to 1990. And if the movie was released before, I should put that, clarify that. If the movie was released prior to 1970, it was re-released in the theater in 1970 onward at some point. So I'm not picking silent films or anything like that. These are movies and that everyone should know or and most likely does know. But this is a preview for what the trivia night is going to be like after the new year. I'm going to mix 3 different categories together. So it's going to be category A is going to be music. Category B is going to be movies. And then category C is going to be a mixture of of questions that are about movie scores for movies. But we're going to have 3 different categories on trivia night. And it's all going to be mixed together. It's not going to be 15 of this, 10 of this, and 5 of that. It's all going to be mixed in together. We're trying to figure out, how we're actually going to pick the questions at this point. We're thinking about maybe either a spinning wheel, a random number generator, something that we're going to add to the actual trivia night that's going to help us pick the actual question itself. So I'll already have all the questions done. It's just, it picked number 3. So this question is from that category. We'll go through it until we actually get 30 questions done. We're trying to make it a lot more enjoyable for a larger audience out there, and I know everybody who is watching this probably appreciates it. The little bit of music and movies, especially movies that are from our our age group, our genre, and stuff like that. So, all right. Question number 16. What are the dying words of Charles Foster Kane in the movie Citizen Kane? The correct answer is D, as in dog. Rosebud is the final thing that he said. Question number 17. B is the last word of Houdini. I'll be back. Yeah. Along with instructions prior to that to his wife about how to know if he ever really does come back through a seance. All right, question number 17. Who played Mrs. Robinson in The Graduate? Was it A, Anne Bancroft, B, Betty White, C, Jennifer Aniston, or D, Julia Roberts? Who played Mrs. Robinson in The Graduate? A, rotary dial. A. John Wayne Gacy was, I quote, one of the original lethal injection mishaps. It's fun to let the imagination wonder what exactly might have happened. Might mean Reichardt's going with A because who was the original Miss Robinson from The Graduate? You guys remember who else starred in this movie? A very young individual who's had a very lengthy career in the movie business. Amy, you've not seen this? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, Moments in Training. Here's to you, Dustin Hoffman. Dustin Hoffman is correct. A very young Dustin Hoffman, by the way, and he's had a very long career. One of the best roles. I mean, he's played some very iconic movies, in different roles over Dustin Hoffman's career. But he did a phenomenal job in Rain Man. I think he did. But that's just me though. I meant above agreeing with about math, but here. What I just realized? Hoffman bears an uncanny resemblance to Robert Durst when he was younger. Okay, I'd have to look at the two photos that are in your head, to try to figure out what they look like, at that time in their lives. Kind of, because right now the only image in my head is the old decrepit, Robert Durst, and I have, obviously, from the question, I have the younger, Dustin Hoffman, in my mind. So I'm not making a connection there, Cement Shoes, but I'm sure it's right. It was very risque for the time, Moments in Trading. Very risque. Yes. The seduction of a young man. Rayman is one of my favorite flicks, Will. He so did. Dustin is a phenomenal actor. Yeah. True gem. I watched a documentary the other day. Well, part of it. I have it saved, but I downloaded it. I'm going to watch it later. But it's the life of Ray Liotta. He is not the person that people think that he is. He is not. All right, question number 17. Who played Mrs. Robinson in The Graduate? The correct answer is A, as in apple. Anne Bancroft played Mrs. Robinson. Dustin Hoffman, Kramer versus Kramer. That was a damn good movie. Made me cry. Made me cry. Kramer versus Kramer. The Jinx is on HBO, right? I don't know if it is, to tell you the truth. All right, question number 18. What was the first featured length animated movie ever released? I think that's supposed to say what was the first full feature, full length animated movie ever released. Was it Snow White? B, Steamboat Willie? C, Selma? Or D, Bugs Bunny's Funny Times? Well, thank you, Cement Shoes. Ooh, a lot of A's. First featured full-length animated movie ever released. I think that's what it's supposed to read, but Smith Shoes is going with A. That was before 1970. Yes, it was. It definitely was. Like I said, if it was released before 1970, it was released at a later date, at some point in the theaters again. What the hell is Selma? Well, to answer your question, Mike Stevens, good evening. Starfire, it's not an animated movie. Mike Stevens, I hope you had a great weekend, Mike. There's a lot of Disney movies like that though, that have they release them for limited editions, like box sets or individuals, and then they go back into the vault, and all the ones they put in the vault, and then they re-release them to theaters. And but all right, what was the first featured length animated movie ever released? Which should have read full length featured movie, animated movie. The correct answer is A, as in apple. Is it raining there, Will? I don't know, Jamie. I would have to look outside. And right now it's pretty dark. But the correct answer is A, as in apple. Snow White was the first one ever. Steamboat Willie came before it, but it's not a full featured film. Selma is about the civil rights battle in Selma. And Bugs Bunny's Fun Times wasn't released and actually made until the late 1980s. I think it was like 86. You can always block something. Way to go. I wasn't sure how mods remove stuff and scared it would do something back if I clicked on it, like malware. Not tech savvy. Well, just don't click on anything, Rotary. Okay. Even if somebody posts, they can't post links. Well, my moderators can. They can post links, but other than that, nobody else can post links to anything. If the moderators post a link, it's usually to either my Patreon, PayPal, or my becoming a channel member or something like that. But those links are completely acceptable for the moderators to be able to post. You can't post a link to go to another website or another YouTube channel. I mean, they could, but I think they all pretty much know not to do it. 2CM has fallen. All right, next question. Question number 19. What shocking Wes Craven horror movie carried the marketing tagline, "To avoid fainting, keep repeating, it's only a movie"? Was it A, Nightmare on Elm Street, B, Texas Chainsaw Part 3, C, Last House on the Left, or D, Friday the 13th Part 2? Steamboat Lily was my guess. And no, I wasn't worried if the mods clicked on it. What if it might do, not knowing how it works. Wes Craven horror movie. I'll be right back. Okay, to answer your question, is it raining here? Yes, it is raining. Okie dokie. See, I wish I could see some snow. I don't want to live in it. Just want to visit every once in a while. I'm in Texas Gulf Coast. Freddy Krueger says Rod Cart. Useless fact. Craven means lacking of courage, cowardly. Huh. It is useless fact. Thank you for sharing it with us. What shocking Wes Craven horror movie carried the marketing tagline to avoid fainting, keep repeating, it's only a movie? Got you some good headphones then? I my studio, I have a window, but you can't see it. It's over there, but it's completely covered because I have the green screen up, on it right now, across it. So without moving all of that and then turning on the outside light, I wouldn't be able to see outside. Otherwise, I have to go through the doorway and then down the hallway, and then another door leads outside. And then I have to trip the motion sensor to actually see if it's raining or not. But it is. All right. What shocking Wes Craven horror movie carried the marketing tagline to avoid fainting, keep repeating, it's only a movie? The correct answer is C, as in cat. Last House on the Left. I forgot to ask earlier. Is that PO box in your about section okay to send a gift to? Yes. Cement shoes. Well, thank you. You didn't have to, but I appreciate it. Yes, that is what that PO box is for. That's where all my fan mail goes, to my PO box. I get way too much of it to accumulate here on my front porch. That and well, we live in a gated community, and the United States Postal Department, when they come to deliver packages, some of them just drop them off at the office, and then we have to pick them up during office hours. Otherwise, they don't want to drive around trying to find all the stupid, names. And every one of the names in this housing development has an atomic theme, like Oppenheimer or Atomic or Nuclear Avenue. All the streets out here have the same stupid names. So they don't want to try to find them because most of them are not on the updated maps. So they just screw it. They just dump packages at the office, make them sort them out. So PO box is a heck of a lot more convenient for me because I have to go there, at least 3 times a week. All right. Last House on the Left was the correct answer for number 19. Going to question 20. Who played juror number 8 in 12 Angry Men? Was it A, Tom Jones, B, David Bowie, C, Henry Fonda, or D, David Spade? Gated means rich? Not exactly, Mike. Not exactly. The area that we live in this community was built originally for engineers and for scientists who work for the federal government, who were building parts for the nuclear bombs that we dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And over the years, all those scientists moved out. The property values plummeted because it's outside of town about 6 miles. And that's all that's here. It's just this gated community for just the engineers and scientists. So the property values plummeted, and we bought property here. It was actually cheaper to buy a home here that was built in 1944 than it was to buy a house in town where we used to live that was built in 1984. So with an old house like this, you obviously have a lot of problems with them, but it definitely does not mean that we're rich by any means at all. Yep, not a spring chicken, LOL. Who played Juror number 8 in 12 Angry Men? In a nutshell, 6 cents a meal. There's a gate and a wall that goes all the way around the entire community. One side of the wall it divides our homes and our area away from I wouldn't call it a highway. It's a 4-lane road, but it's only 35 miles an hour. And then there's side streets that are 30. But and then there's a wall that goes across the front. There's a gate, and there's a visitors and a checkpoint for anybody who comes in to deliver anything. And then the wall goes down and around the entire community. But it was built for scientists and engineers originally, but they all moved out. they moved. They built another, community that's closer to the river. So now they have really fancy walkways and paths and these little tiny bistros that you can go to where a sandwich costs like $30 because they got money to burn. So apparently that's what they like to do. So they have a whole other community that they've built. We know, and we're so far out of town. I mean, it's 6 miles to into town. There's nothing. I mean, when I say there's nothing between us and town, there is nothing. There's not even a tree. I think of the black and white movie of 12 Angry Men. He did die, but there is a remake. I don't know if they ever remade this movie. They may have, but the original movie has been released 3 times back into the theater, according to my notes here. Who played Juror number 8 in 12 Angry Men? $30 sandwich? Crazy? Yeah, right? But the one thing that's cool, right, Cart, is there is a massive parking lot that's about, I'd say probably about 2 city blocks from me that you can pull in. I don't know if you pull doubles, but we have friends of the family who they're illegal in our state, doubles, but he has a full size semi, and then he's got the sleeper cab and everything else all in on his truck. Then he's got the refrigeration truck if he's pulling that, but he can hook up a double. He just can't go onto the freeway with it, but he can pull them around in town here where we live. But the parking lot is big enough that he can actually do a complete circle in it. So he can pull in and he can park there. It's only about 2 blocks from here, but there's nothing there. There used to be like a warehouse that used to be there, but the warehouse has been gone since like the 80s. Huge parking lot. The only people ever use that parking lot is for you see like people teaching their kids how to drive in parallel park and stuff like that. Otherwise, it just sits empty. The truck and trailer unit, yeah, it's a huge parking lot. I don't know how big you would actually say it is. It's got to be at least a couple city blocks wide and long. And it's all cracky and grass grows up through the cracks in the blacktop. But it's been sitting there since the 60s, and they tore the building down, the warehouse that used to be on one side of it, down in the 80s. But otherwise, it just sits there. All right. Who played Juror number 8 in 12 Angry Men? The correct answer is C, as in cat, Henry Fonda. And this movie was released 3 times in the theater. The last time it was released in the theater was in 1990. 1990 was the last time it was released to the theater. All right. Question number 21. What TV show was Jack Nicholson referring to when he ad-libbed "Here's Johnny" in The Shining? Was it A, The Gong Show, B, Match Game, C, Hollywood Squares, or D, The Tonight Show? It's my bedtime in 30 minutes. Oh, sorry, Mike. Well, you have to get out and work tomorrow, so I understand that. In case I miss you before you leave, thank you again, Mike. For stopping in. I appreciate it, and you have a wonderful week ahead. Right card's going with D. Diana, D. Right, Dial, what you mean? Been there. I never saw a new one. I'm talking about the old one. I saw it again. Karen Pearson, sorry if I missed you before. Welcome to Trivia Night. I hope you had a wonderful week. I'm glad you could stop in and play with us tonight. No, it means it's my birthday in 30 minutes. Oh, it's your birthday in 30 minutes. Well, happy birthday, Mike. Happy birthday to everybody. Say happy birthday to Mike Stevens. This Wi-Fi in the hotel sucks. I'm sorry, love the sun. You know what I ended up doing a lot of times before we switched to our provider was I ended up having to use my cell phone, and I would hook it up to my laptop, tethering it for a Wi-Fi connection, because I could always get a good Wi-Fi connection on my cell phone, but I couldn't always get one for through the router for the actual internet service. Sucks. Some things hit different at different times in life. Mods, you can click to the right off the spammer and time them out from posting. Thanks, everyone. Wash hands. Washing hands. Washing hands. What TV show was Jack Nicholson referring when he ad-libbed "Here's Johnny" in The Shining? Was it The Gong Show, The Match Game, Hollywood Squares, or The Tonight Show? Yeah, they do. Seen it a lot lately. 6 cents a meal. I've seen it a lot, unfortunately. All right, question number 21. The correct answer is D, The Tonight Show. And he was referring to mainly The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. But Tonight Show is the correct answer. D, as in dog. All right, going on to question number 22. Oh, Children of the Corn, the original. Malachi. Love the original Children of the Corn. 22. What critically panned 1984 country musical comedy starring Dolly Parton and Sylvester Stallone eventually became a cult hit? Was it A, Debbie Does Dallas, B, Rhinestone, C, Boots Up, or D, Lone Star? You can't black your IP address. Well, YouTube can, but here's an interesting thing about that. Cement shoes. YouTube could block them, and Google could block them, but Google actually makes money off of them. So why would you want to make money off of them and then block them? And what I'm referring to is Google actually allows these companies to place ads on their platform in their search engine on how to destroy someone on social media. You give them your money, these companies. Google then takes a slice of that for transaction of the credit card, or for advertising, bumping them up the actual search engine. And then they allow these people to go out on their own platform and destroy people who are on their own platforms. It's like the left hand and the right hand don't know what the hell's going on. They could block their IP addresses, and oh, look, you've already, violated terms and conditions once, twice, whatever. Warn them. They don't care. They know these people are making multiple accounts, and they keep on doing it over and over again. But they think it's funny. A lot of times, I just don't let it bother me. Will, did you pick these answers? A through D? I'm guessing over A. Will, did you pick these answers? A through D? I'm dying over A. Did I pick? So how did the questions and the answers come up? Interesting question. Thank you. So the question comes up on a trivia board that I belong to, and you can download the questions in groups of, I think it's 25, 50, 75, so on. It's in groupings of 25. You can download the PDF of the actual questions. And each question comes with either one or two, in some cases, three possible answers. And it's for playing home trivia at night with your friends. But then I kind of converted to this. And usually one or two of the possible four answers I add in. And you're dying over A, huh? Oh, a famous one. 6 cents a meal. Debbie does Dallas. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the answer for question number 22 is B as in boy, rhinestone. Ladies and gentlemen, A is a porno. It's the only title to a porn I know. I swear to God. That's the only one I know. It's just like, well, besides Flesh Gordon, which is like a spoof of Flash Gordon, but nobody wants to ever know that one either. So I threw that one in. But this question actually came with the other three. So, all right. Question number 23. In 1976 Thriller, does Robert De Niro famously say, "You talking to me"? In what 1976 Thriller does Robert De Niro famously say, "You talking to me"? Is it A, Taxi Driver, B, Brooklyn Nights, C, Night Shift, or D, Jumping Jack Flash? Hello, Matt. Matt Burgess. Good evening. Welcome to the trivia night. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Matt's going with A. You talking to me? Any all day, she says. Over. Scarface. 1976 Thriller. Does Robert De Niro famously say, "You talking to me"? I can't do it right. A, only because that's what everyone else is saying. It could be right. Tony Montana. Was Taxi Driver the one with Jodie Foster? I don't believe Jodie Foster was in Taxi Driver. Then again, she was in a lot of movies. Was she in Taxi Driver? It's been a long time since I've seen it. She was. I can't remember her, being in it, but she was 14. Was a thriller. As someone who had a mohawk in the 80s, there was zero chance Robert De Niro would have walked into public that hairstyle and not have everyone stare at him. Scarface is super fun to watch when you're baked, super baked. David Bowie as Ziggy Stardust videos. Watch some of those, Matt. So I hear. I hear that they're good. Google says yes, she was Iris. There you go. All right. I wasn't. I don't have any memory of her being in the movie though, but I'm sure she was. Because we all know Google's never wrong. I like watching Superfly. Superfly. That's one I haven't seen in a long time. Superfly or Shaft. I haven't seen those in a long time. Wow. There's some memories. John Hinckley got obsessed with Jody on Taxi Driver. That's why he shot Reagan. Yeah, I know he shot Reagan because he wanted to impress her. I don't know how that was going to work. All right. In 1976 thriller, Robert De Niro famously said, "You talking to me?" The correct answer is A, as in Apple, Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver is the correct answer for question number 23. Question number 24. What's the name of the athletic dancer near the beginning of the Rocky Horror Picture Show? What is the name of the dancer? Where's my stupid cursor? There it is. You're right back. Well, it's a good thing that we're on question number 24. Only thing I have in my fridge out here is either beer or Red Bull. Just notice I'm getting low on water, and I don't want to drink a Red Bull at this time of the night. Keep me awake all night. Rocky Horror was hilarious. Alicia. I'm not sure if I said hello earlier, Alicia, but I'm sorry if I didn't. Let's do the time warp again. Anybody ever gone and seen it acted out? The Rocky Horror Picture Show? I have several times, to answer the question that I just asked. I have several times. The last time I saw it acted out was in downtown Minneapolis on, I believe it's First Street. It's right off of Hennepin Avenue. There's a movie theater there that they do it like every Saturday night or so, and it's been going on forever. And that was like the last place I saw it was probably there. Just don't, if you ever decide to go, don't let them know it's the first time you've ever been to it. They'll call you out as virgin. You don't want that. A meal 40 years. You dress up, Matt. There you go. I went every Friday at midnight. That's cool. Went to a theater in Austin. It was live, but we all belted out random read questions at the performers. That was the second time I'd seen it. That's the one thing I look forward to the most about things reopening is theaters starting to open back up. You get to go see shows that you can't go to any concerts or even smaller venue shows. So hear bands play or off Broadway plays. None of it's been open at all. It's been a very dry couple of years. It was a big midnight thing when was a teen. I meant to go, but never made it. Miss going to theaters. But the movie theaters are open here. My niece actually works at Fairchild Theater, so they're open. But nothing. If they, as long as everybody stays 6 feet apart, they can be open. So a theater that would normally have like 150 people in it can only have like 40%. You haven't had the same relish for a theater since James Holmes. All right. What's the name of the dance at the Rocky Horror Picture Show? The correct answer is B. Oh, not B. Not B. Not B. D. D is in dog. I looked at D. I meant to say D, but I said B. But it's actually D as in dog. I'm reading it and right on the screen the same as you guys are, and I still screwed it up. New Ghostbuster looks okay, I guess. I've had a live theater where I live too. It shut down, but now my cousin rode his Harley through the theater. His buddy owned the theater. You volunteered as an usher at theater years ago? That's cool. All right, question number 25. For what movie did Steven Spielberg win his first Oscar for Best Director? Was it A, Stand By Me, B, E.T., C, Schindler's List, or D, Carrie? Nothing ever beats the 80s Ghostbusters. I'm going to have to agree with you on that one, Matt. I mean, when it comes to the Ghostbusters franchise, I think, but we're all probably a little bit biased to that because it was the original. But, Miranda, he was good in that. That and what was the other one? Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Tragic loss that he's gone. But, we still have Bill Murray around. There's that. Reese's Pieces for E.T. Betty Blue. Good evening, Betty Blue. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Welcome to the trivia night. We're on question number 25 out of 30, but at least you made it. List was dark but good. C, thank you. C, E, the moon landing. I think B, but D thought he was always shunned at the Oscars. Sad. For what movie did Steven Spielberg win his first Oscar for Best Director? Best Director. And how many hinges have you made today? C for Karen. Moments in Trading. B, E.T. C, pretty E.T. encapsulated him to fame, catapulted him to fame. I'm often wrong though. I avoid train tracks. So do I. All right. What movie did Steven Spielberg win his first Oscar for Best Director? The correct answer for number 25, ladies and gentlemen, is C as in cat. Schindler's List. He won his first Oscar for Best Director for Schindler's List. Sad, but dark. Very well done. Darkest film I ever saw about World War II was Gray Zone. It gave me nightmares. It gave me nightmares. It must be pretty bad. Hmm. All right, question number 626. Marlon Brando could have been a contender in what iconic 1954 cinematic drama? Was it A, Godfather, B, On the Waterfront, C, Apocalypse Now, or D, Alice Dinner? I think that's supposed to be Alice's Dinner or Alice's Diner. Serving but a cinematic wonder. And before anybody asks, this movie was released in 1954, was re-released in 1976. Jokes aside, Schindler's List broke me as a kid. Great film. Oh, no, The Pianist is a great movie. That Pianist, I love The Pianist. That was a good movie. Very good movie. Moments in Trading. Mike Stevens. I knew it. I'm 56. The Planet? What, Planet of the Apes? The original one? Re-released after success of Rocky. Anywhere near the restaurant. American History X. Oh God, broke me also. Somewhat another epic watch. American History X. Oh man, that Edward Norton. Edward Norton was in that one. That was a damn good movie. Disturbing as hell, but a damn good movie. People in the 50s know these answers. Rocky 90 coming soon. It feels like it, right? I thought it was so funny when after all the Rocky movies and everything else were out and all the remakes of Rambo and everything else, they Stallone was in the Expendables. I thought it was funny. People didn't get why I thought it was so funny. I was like, yeah, it's about time he makes something like that. We weren't allowed to watch TV very often. The TV was kept in the good lounge, aka no children allowed, in the visitors room. Betty Blue, I'm 63 and I'm having a hard time. Oh, I'm sorry, Betty Blue. Marlon Brando could have been a contender. Could have been a contender. In what iconic 1954 crime drama? The correct answer is B as in boy, On the Waterfront. On the Waterfront. Could have been a contender. 27. What words are written on the knuckles of revered Harry Powell, Robert Mitchum, in The Night of the Hunter? Was it A, love, hate? So on his hands, on the knuckles, across the hands. Was it love, hate, sea and land, hate and gore, or big deal? What was written across Robert Mitchum's hands in The Night of the Hunter? Still haven't seen The Pianist, but have read the great reviews and have here also word of mouth. But it's one that's on your list. It is a really good movie. A really good movie. And I know, hey. I'm the Madonna generation. Great movie. Mike Stevens is going with B, Sea and Land. Very well made, but difficult to watch. There are a lot of movies that are like that, though. That really, really well made. You know, they're not something you go into thinking you're gonna laugh. I'm going to go with A because everyone else picked it, but I don't know this one. What words are written on the knuckles of the revered Harry Powell, Robert Mitchum, in The Night of the Hunter? Rihanna's going with C. Left, right. Left, left, right. Sorry, I missed tonight. Hope everyone is doing well. Sal Singleton, good evening and welcome. I hope you had a wonderful week. Well, you can watch the rest of it and rewind after. Question number 27. What are written on the knuckles of Robert Mitchum in The Night of the Hunter? The correct answer is A, as in apple. Love, hate. Love, hate. But that's 5 letters, so it's spelt right. Question number 28. What Hollywood movie star played himself in Zombieland? Was it A, Johnny Carson, B, Steven Seagal, C, Bill Murray, or D, Paul Tuttle? Who played himself in Zombieland? Leguizamo, not spelled correctly. John Leguizamo, the comedian actor. D would be correct. He was missing a finger. Who played himself in Zombieland? I guess B, assuming it's a cameo. Have 0 tats been told I'm more destructive for having none? Distinctive. I've got them all up my left arm, right arm. I got on my forearm, and I've got other ones on my body, like on my back, 2 on my hip, 1 on my ankle. Who is Paul Tuttle? Don't know. Did I tell you the truth? Stephanie Fisher? I don't know. The name sounds familiar, but for some reason I don't know. I'm not drawing an answer to your question. They're all zombies in my book. Going with B, Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal plays in real life. He's a sheriff's deputy. And that I'm not joking. If you want to watch some really funny, he's not trying to be funny. He's trying to be a lawman. But Steven Seagal really is a sheriff deputy. I think in New Orleans. There's someplace right down there. Generation tatting the arms and legs. I was born in the 80s. Knuckles got easy and overrated. Face is just too sad. Never saw the stigma. Name of a character saw the moments in trading. No, I don't think it's the name of a character. I think these are all people. So I'm guessing it's a person's name. But for some reason, I'm drawing. The name sounds familiar, but I'm not drawing a picture to the name. So if I had a picture, I'd probably be able to put it to, okay, now I know who this is. So I have rarely seen face tattoos except in teardrops, and they scare me. Now I know the meaning. No tats for you, Mike? Bucket list? I did all of my own. Ink pens and a sewing needle. Did it all in one night. Stoned out of my ever living gourd. I had long story short, but short version was I had a subdermal hematoma, which is bleeding in the brain. And well, they didn't know it at the time. That was what was going on. They put me on medication because I had a nasty owie on the side of my head. But then they sent me back home. And my wife went to work and left me there with our daughter, who was a toddler at the time. And for some reason, I had one tattoo on my hand, in the web of my hand, on my left hand. The only tattoo I had before then. And I decided that I was watching something on television, and I just decided, all right, time for tattoos. And I made my own little tattoo like needle thing and gun, and all the ink is done with ink pens, red, yellow, blue, and black ink pens. I'm lucky I didn't give myself ink poisoning. Really lucky. Never did a tattoo before then. Never did one since. I did it all one night. You're not rich, but we bought the ink, and the pens. We bought the ink and the pens. Is Paul Jr.'s West Coast Chopper Fun Times? Oh, see, well, why is it spelled that way then? I didn't change the spelling. So, teardrops tats are for like 40, 50-year-olds. Murder tats are not done on the face anymore. Is it? I'm so trying to think. Is that supposed to be Paul Tuttle from OC Orange County Choppers? I don't know. All right. What Hollywood movie star played himself in Zombieland? The correct answer is C, as in Apple. Bill Murray played himself in the movie Zombieland, and they shot and killed him. He came in to and because he was working on, supposedly in the movie, the theory is he was dressed up like a zombie and had his face all painted up like a zombie because he was trying to get into character for a movie that he was going to make. And he walked in and he scared them while they were in his home, watching a movie in his own private theater. Shot him with a shotgun, and he ended up dying. But Bill Murray. All right. Question number 29. Sorry, we just did 28. Who is the only actor to receive an Oscar nomination for acting in Lord of the Rings movies? Was it A, Billy Boyd, B, Sean Astin, C, Elijah Woods, or D, Ian McKellen? Who is the only actor to receive an Oscar nomination? Orange County Choppers. Sorry. Yeah. I don't know. I'd be kind of curious if it's supposed to be him, why they would change the spelling like that. Yikes! The women that work with their hands don't know. I missed that. I used my hands. But people say Tuttle, and that's how I know the name. Wow. That's a trilogy, right? Lord of the Rings. Well, happy birthday, Mike. I hope the year was, you know, blissful, relaxing. If not, maybe the next year is going to be. But here's looking forward to you to another year, Mike. I have never watched Lord of the Rings films. I think I have once. Once. So I think we had like a Lord of the Rings night where me and my family sat down and watched them all, the entire trilogy of it all. C D wrote it down. So shoot, neither have I. Cheers, Mike. Who is the only actor to receive an Oscar nomination for acting in the Lord of the Rings movies? Hydrate. Actually, I've seen clips from now. I have not watched the Lord of the Rings either, but it's on my bucket list. Question number 29. Who is the only actor to receive an Oscar nomination for acting in Lord of the Rings? The correct answer is D, as in dog. Ian McKellen was the only actor to ever receive an Oscar nomination for any of them. That is surprising as heck. I couldn't. I would have guessed that Elijah Woods or Sean Austin would have. I mean, or Elijah Woods, in particular, his main character in the movie. Why didn't he get one? But I mean, Ian McKellen did a hell of a good job in his role. Don't want to spoil, for those who haven't seen it, but Ian McKellen is, great in the movie. Peter Jackson was a B horror movie icon in the 80s and 90s. Did not know that. Did such a great job as Gandalf. Yeah. All right. Question number 30. For which 1964 musical blockbuster did Julie Andrews win an Academy Award for Best Actress? Was it A, Mary Poppins, B, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, C, Return to Witch Mountain, or D, Land of the Lost? Which one did she win the Academy Award for Best Actress? You don't like fantasy at all? Cement shoes? Sci-fi? Yeah, I'll tell you something that, since this question is over with, cement shoes. Betty Blue is going with A, Mary Poppins. Sigourney Weaver. She's a good actress in Aliens. I wasn't a big fan of Aliens versus Predator. Sci-fi, fantasy, me too. Take it or leave it. All books or movies. Mike Stevens is going with B, Bedknobs and Broomsticks. She was a good actress in Copycat also. Not drawing a blank on that one. Why does this title just sound so wrong? A, it made it up for Audrey Hepburn's getting the Oscar for My Fair Lady. Dick Van Dyke was a pain in the tootie in Bedknobs, drunk all the time. Didn't know that, Rotary. Didn't know that, but that doesn't surprise me at all about Dick Van Dyke. I know he had a huge drinking problem for a long time. Not the AVP sequel, but the original Alien and the original Predator. AVP not very good. I'm gonna agree with you there, Cement Shoes. I never was much of a fan of the Alien versus Predator movie. Ghostbusters. She played in with Bill Murray. Was she the deity or whatever it was in the apartment complex who became the god at the end? Was that Sigourney Weaver? Huh. Or the gatekeeper or whatever it was. My sister Shetty loved Mary Poppins. She was a gatekeeper, huh? All right. Which 1964 musical blockbuster did Julie Andrews win an Academy Award for Best Actress? The correct answer is A, as in apple. Mary Poppins. That is all 30 questions. All right, so we're going to tell you really quick, Cement Shoes. The other day, I got approached by kind of a family friend. He was getting rid and he's cleaning out his garage full of like collectibles and stuff like that, movies, collectible. And he's a huge sci-fi collector of different memorabilia. Everything he collected stuff, everything from Star Trek to prop stuff that for different movies, fan gear, T-shirts, collectible cards, and stuff like that. And he wanted to know if there was anything I was interested in, that he was gonna some of the stuff he's just gonna throw away, and some of it he's going to a nephew or something of his is going to sell off. But I got a cardboard box. I haven't gone through it yet. It's in the house, but they're folders, like 3-ring binders of correspondence and letters between actors and actresses from these different sci-fi movies. And one of the folders that he has letters that he wrote back and forth to the cast members of X-Files. And then there's a complete X-Files trading cards in there, and there's trading cards for all these other sci-fi movies, franchises that throughout time, especially like the late 70s, early 80s. But I haven't gone through the box yet, so I have no idea what else is in there. I just noticed the X-Files one because it was on top. But I got it all for $20. I'm gonna go through it all and decide what we want to keep, and I'm pretty sure my daughter will end up selling the rest of it on eBay. Roswell. Mike Stevens was born in '64. Julie Andrews did My Fair Lady on Broadway. Audrey Hepburn got the movie role instead, even though they used a ghost singer. Did not know that. Tell him to call the American Picker guy. Yeah, right? Oh, it's all gone. He cleaned everything out of the garage. Him and his wife are downsizing because both of their kids have gone off to college, and they've decided that neither one of the kids want to come back home. They're not really interested in the home, so they're going to downsize, and I think they plan on buying a cabin someplace. I don't know where. A resort cabin, some resort town, overpriced, but they're getting rid of it all. It's all gone now. But the X-Files was in there. I picked up the thing and I was like, oh look, the letter from Julia Anderson. And there's other ones from David Duchovny and directors, and studio people. He was really into this lifestyle, like collecting sci-fi memorabilia for different movies and action figures and all kinds of stuff. He was a grown adult. But to each their own. He never did anything wrong in his life, well, at least not that I know of. He was a huge fan of sci-fi. Keep it as an entire auction and collect that. Yeah, unfortunately, 6 cents. Yeah, it's all been broken up into like his nephew took a bunch of it. Some of it I think he gave away to other family and friends. And the only reason why I was there was because they have a deep freezer, like one of those chest freezers that he wanted to get rid of. So my friend was looking for one, so we went and bought that from him for $40. And then the two of us, were supposed to load it. I obviously can't because my leg. So I had to arrange for another friend to come over and help, load it up onto my trailer, which my friend ended up driving my truck and hooking my trailer up to because I can't do it. Used to buy lots. Huh. I've seen shows, where people buy lots of things like closeout lots, stuff like that. Mulder and Scully. Was it 2 seasons after them? To tell you the truth, do 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 do. X-Files theme song. To tell you the truth, I probably watched probably a dozen of the first maybe season of X Files. And but normally when it came on, it was on when I had to work, so I never got to see it. But every once in a while, I'd be off and I'd stop by it was my sister's house. Her and her husband, well, eventual husband, they had an apartment. And I'd stop by every once in a while and see what they were up to, and they'd be watching the X Files. Album books. These are well, I've got some album books, but mostly Disney, books and stuff like that. And notice the other day, I was going through these, and I was looking for something else completely different. Now I can't find it. But anyway, down there on the bottom shelf, I got a couple laser discs in there. I thought they're records to the different movies, but they're actually laser discs. Or the end of it, which I think it was taken off. My daughter's name is Danielle. I call her Roswell. It's cool. Well, I'm going to wrap things up there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for stopping in and playing trivia tonight. I hope everyone has a wonderful week ahead. And thank you very much for joining me tonight. Next Sunday, we will do it again, same time, 7 p.m. Again. After the new year, the time of the stream will be changing along with the content for Sunday. So, like I said before, the Sunday streams will be music and movie combined questions, for the 30 questions. And the time will be earlier in the evening than it is now. Right now, we're doing it at 7 p.m. on the Pacific Coast of the United States. It looks like according, I'm letting everybody else vote on this. The voting is still open, and it will remain open until December 31st. But and that's on the community tab for my page. you can go over there and enter a vote. But it looks like right now the stream on Sundays will take place at 4 p.m. on the Pacific Coast, which is 7 o'clock on the East Coast. But anyways, I am a large majority, close to 90% of all the content that is on this channel is suggested by viewers just like you. And again, give this a thumbs up if you like it. We're still trying to get to one of these live streams, of any of the live streams that I do, of getting to at least a 50% thumbs up. Most people say they like it in the comment section, but they never leave a thumbs up. Just want to see it. That's want to, it's kind of like one of those little tiny metrics. I just want to get to it someday. I do my best to offer the best content that I can, and if I'm not following through, if I'm not making this enjoyable enough for you, please leave a comment, on the video itself, and let me know what I can do to improve it. And I will take it, to heart, and I will actually, look into what I can do to improve it. But again, everyone, thank you again. You all have a wonderful week ahead, and thank you.